Hi ladies, I am here with a new video. I have the very beautiful Stacy as my model today. Say hi.
Hi.
And what we're going to be doing is actually just a holiday look. I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to go dramatic or I'm just going to go ahead and go neutral, but we'll see what happens. But first of all, I'm going to start with the Aveeno Daily Moisturizer. And my MAC 190, I will go ahead and apply that to pretty much the T-zone and all over her face, since she is on the dry side. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that and blend out. Hello, I'm back again. So I went ahead and applied that all over her face, and I'm going to let that sit for a couple minutes so that the moisture would sink into her pores. So I will be right back. Okay, so I let it sit for about a minute and a half, and now we're going to apply some dark circle corrector, because let me go ahead and zoom in real quick. As you see, I'm sorry, I had to. Okay. As you see, she does have a little bit of purple undertones underneath the corner of her eye, so we're going to go ahead and correct that using the Bobbi Brown corrector, and this is in the color Peach. This is actually a tad bit darker than her, but this will be able to counteract that purple color, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Hold on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this with my RC Cosmetics brush, and I'm just going to tap that all the way into the corner, and that goes for the other side as well. Now I'm going to let that sit for a little bit just so I don't move any of the product and make it a little bit more sticky to her skin. And I'm going to be using my RC Cosmetics flat top to blend that out. Okay, so I'm back, and what I'm going to do is just gently brush that across wherever the darkness is, and make sure it doesn't go into the creases, so it would be more flawless. And the reason why I use this orange, beige, whatever it's called, peach tone, is so that it would go ahead and counteract as a corrector. So as you see, it's a little bit more lighter than it was earlier, and I will be right back. Hi ladies, I am back again, and this time there's no more pausing since the angle of the camera is just ridiculous. Okay, so as I was doing earlier, I was blending that out and making sure that it's not going into the creases of her eye. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover up any pores and wrinkles that she may have with the L'Oreal Revitalift Miracle Blur. This is the oil-free one. She is dry skin, but this is what I have. This is what I've been using since I am oily skin, and so that's what I'm going to go ahead and apply. So I'm just going to put that into whatever area I feel needs to be filled in, and just slightly blend it out and let it sit in the skin so that it would go ahead and be a line and pore filler. Next step is my MAC Studio Fix in NC35, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Beauty Blender to what, Stacy? To put it on her face.
Yes.
So I'm just getting a little bit. I will be bronzing up her face, so we'll see how that goes. So with the Studio Fix, a little goes a long way. And let's say if there's any parts that you feel like needs more coverage, you can always go back. But it's best not to put too much when you're applying it for the first time. So using the fluffier side of the Beauty Blender, I'm going to go ahead and gently bounce that all over her face. Roll it a little bit as well and blend it all out. And when you're blending, since she doesn't have any neck tattoos like me, I would normally bring it down to her neck just so that everything is one uniform color. How are you doing so far, Stacy? Good. Awesome. Stacy is actually my cousin's girlfriend, and I'm actually here at her house today, so out of the blue I just told her that I wanted to do her makeup, and she didn't really know this was gonna crack down. Are you mad?
No.
So like I said, we're gonna bring that down to her neck just to even out every skin tone. And normally she is cover that hickey too. Normally she is a NC35 when she's in her tanner days, but I'm usually an NC35 even with natural color. Okay, so that's there. You want to show your face, Stacey? So it's more of a full coverage, as you guys know, with the Studio Fix line. And now what I am going to do is I am going to do her brows. And so, Stacey, which one do you use for your brows? Or you want me to just use mine?
Yeah, yours.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, Stacey does have dark hair, as you see. And my favorite eyebrow creator is the Milani eyebrow kit, and this is in the color light, and I use that darker color on the bottom. So with just a small angled brush like I would normally use, we will go ahead and fill in her brows. So since Stacey really has natural brows, all we have to do is pretty much fill in the spars. And we're talking about spars on the top of her brow and maybe shape up a little bit on the bottom, just so we can go ahead and give her a little bit more of dramatic brows so that it would look nice with the eyes. We'll go ahead and do that. So what I'm doing first is just lining the bottom portion of her brows. Let me zoom in real quick so you guys can see that. And you see how just by lining the bottom, it actually makes a really, really big difference. And that's what I like about natural brows to dramatic brows. And she actually has really, really nice brows.
Thanks.
Aww. So I'm going to go ahead and line the top portion as well, just to give her more volume. And any mistakes is okay, because we are going to fix that with some concealer. So as you see, I'm brushing upwards when it comes to the beginning of her brow, just so it's not so harsh and it's not too dark. Let me see. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. And what's nice about having brows is they're always on point. Whether you're going for a more natural look or even a more dramatic look, it's always nice to have your own brows there, just so that it won't be so hard to fill in. Because when it comes to my brows, I have a really hard time filling in just because I don't have brows. So we're just going to go ahead and blend everything and brush excess powder off. Okay, so as you see, her brows are pretty much made. Now we have to fix it. So I'm using my ever so known, let me see if I can find it, ever so known Kirkland color wheel, and I'm using that more pinkish tone since, let me see, this pinkish tone since she's more light-skinned. And we are going to carve out the brow and blend it out again with the Flat Top Small Baby Kabuki by RC Cosmetics. So we're going to start from the beginning of her brow, and just get as close as we can to that line, and then from the top as well. And blend it out. And what it also does is actually highlights under her brow to make it have the appearance of a higher, more arched, cleaned out brow. Now let me just go ahead and zoom in for you guys. As you see, her brows are really, really nice, because I did them. Okay, now we're doing the other side. Pick up a little bit more product and just go ahead and then the top portion too. And blend it out. Okay, so let's see. That's where we are so far. We are done with the brows. Now we are going to highlight under her eyes. And what I'm going to use this time is, if I could find it, let me see.
What is it?
The MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is an NC25. So it's going to be a little bit more of a highlighter, because we did put that orange color toned underneath her eyes. So we want to balance it out. So please look up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start around her cheek area. Just because we want the highlight to be a V shape, and we don't want it too thick and creasy under her eyes. So we're going to put the lightest amount of product under her eyes and more product on her cheek to go ahead and enhance those cheekbones. Stacy's probably like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I really don't.
Stacy's actually really new in doing her makeup. Hold on, Stacey, let me just... And a little bit on her forehead. And on her chin. And whatever's left. Just tap that off. And what we're going to do is blend it out with the tip of the Beauty Blender, this side. The smaller side of the Beauty Blender. You can also use your flat kabuki brush if you want to, but I feel like I get a more natural, flawless finish with the Beauty Blender. So this is what we're doing right now. And look up. So as you see, I have minimal product under her eyes, but at the same time it's still more luminous and highlighted. I cannot breathe for shit. So we'll do that to the other side as well, just to even it out. And on the bridge of her nose, on her cupid's bow, and her chin. Okay, so let's see where we're at. So we do have the highlight, the foundation, the brows, and normally if I'm doing a dramatic eye, I don't do the whole foundation yet, but Stacy's actually really not that comfortable being on camera with no facial makeup, so we went ahead and did that first. And now what we're going to do is we are going to set that. And normally I would actually use a setting powder, but today I'm going to try out the new Bare Minerals Concealer in Well Rested. And this is actually a highlighting luminous powder. So let me just go ahead and show that to you guys. That. And what you do is you go ahead and tap that on the lid. And with a more fluffy small brush, we're going to go ahead and, sorry, let me go ahead and just focus that. Okay, that kind of brush. And we're going to swirl that in the lid. Tap off a lot of excess because you don't want it too bright, because this actually has SPF. So it does give a ugly, flashy, really, really white color on camera. So really minimal. We're going to go ahead and just swipe that in the inner part of her eyes. We're not going past her, the line of her eyes. And just sweep that across. Since this does not crease, I really, really like this for like an everyday look when you're trying to achieve a more natural makeup. Let's see. Did I poke your eye?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
You did?
I
did? Okay, so there it is. And we are going to contour a bit. So using a few of my favorite things by Too Faced. It's this palette. You guys seen this before, I know. And I'm using the Chocolate Soleil with a e.l.f. Professional Bronzing Brush. And that is a angled bronzing brush. So I use this to contour. And what I like about this is it's actually a lot denser than I would think it would be for $1. And I cut the edges actually just to make a smaller brush. So what we're gonna do is in order to contour, we're gonna start from the ear and going down like this. So however it looks that way, that's where we're gonna go ahead and start contouring. So we're slowly brushing this on her cheeks and making it go up a bit to the temples, just to give that more natural bronzy look, and down her chin, because you don't want some double chin showing, which she doesn't have, but I do. Okay, and we will do that to the other side. Okay, now we have that on. Let me just down the bridge of her nose. I am actually going to set the rest of her face, and the reason why I didn't set it before I did the bronzer, just so that the bronzer would stick to to the foundation and it won't be so unnatural looking. I'm going to be using my Rimmel Stay Matte. It's in Sandstorm, and just a Sonia Kashuk stippling brush. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on her forehead, down the bridge of her nose, and around the face perimeter. And now we are going to prime her lids. And I will be using Benefit Stay Don't Stray. And this is in the color Light. And look how sleepy my model is. Am I taking too long?
No.
And we're going to dot this on her lid. Just like that. And this is actually to keep the paint pot from creasing, because I will be using MAC's Painterly Paint Pot just to have a more a vibrant color in her shadows. And I'm taking a small brush, the same brush that I used for the concealer. I will dip that in Max Painterly Paint Pot. There you go. And distribute that on her lid. Just the inner parts. Nothing past her crease because we don't want that part to be popping too much since we will be putting transition colors. Do you find it hard to film?
Mm-mm.
You like being on camera?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we did put that on her lid, and now what we're going to be doing is taking the Sonia Kashuk number 109 brush. We will actually make a pretty much transition color. So I choose transition colors based on their skin tone. And so what I think is going to be a really nice translucent color is from the Lorac Pro palette, and that color is going to be mauve. So with that brush, the 109, tap off the excess and go ahead and sweep that all over her lid. Well, her crease pretty much. Make sure that this color is actually more cooler toned when it comes to like a yellow based skin tone, since you do want it to look a tad bit more natural. So we could say as if the transitions of colors was very smooth. Next, I'm going to be using this light color right here, Cream Colored Ponies from the Too Faced palette. On that same brush, tap off the excess, and I will just sweep that underneath her brow bone and blend it a little bit in with mauve. Are you enjoying yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see. So there is her crease color. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put more density into the look. So we're going in with the color Espresso in that same palette from the Lorac Pro with a smaller, this is a contour brush. Looks like this. It's from e.l.f. Cosmetics. And I'm just going to go ahead and tap off the excess and place that right here in her outer V. And just focus that right there. As you see, her outer V is a bit dark and not blended because I will be blending that out pretty darn soon. So what I want to do is I just want to put as much darkness on the V area and really not focus on her inner lid because she does have beautiful greenish hazel eyes, and so we're going to make that color pop a bit. And with a with a Makeup For You brush, I'm using this fluffier, more rounder buffing brush, and that's when I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the edges. I still want that area, her outer V, dark, and so I'm going to maintain that darkness. Let me see. Okay, so we still have that darkness going on, and what I'm gonna do with my dirty MAC 217 brush, I will go ahead and put taupe, tap off the excess, and slightly sweep that on the outer part of her crease.